Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to the show. I am Omona Okonkwo. Let's highlight some of the biggest headlines in Africa's energy industry right now. It was a very sad week for the global energy industry and indeed Frontier Africa this week, as one of the illustrious leaders of the continent, His Excellency Mohammad Sanusi Barkindo, the Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, died on Tuesday, July the 5th. Energy stakeholders all over the world have offered condolences to the Barkindo family. The African Development Bank has partnered with Private Infrastructure Development Group for the Desert to Power initiative aimed at assisting Burkina Faso, Chad, Mali, Mauritania, and Niger to maximize their solar energy potential and fight against climate change effects. Sao Tome and Principe have signed an MOU with a British private firm, Global Otech Resources Limited, to develop a power purchase agreement for a 1.5 megawatt floating ocean thermal energy conversion platform offshore Sao Tome Island. Beyond the Grid Fund for Africa has signed solar project financing agreements with RS, Energy City, NG Energy Access, and Power Corner for electrification projects in Burkina Faso, Liberia, and Zambia. French seismic data processing company CGG has won a seismic imaging contract with British Petroleum for the Atoll and Atoll North fields in Egypt. The Africa Export-Import Bank has signed a project preparation facility financing with Nigeria's UTM Offshore for a floating liquefied natural gas project in Nigeria. On Energy Quick Chat this week, we will focus on the legacy of the late Mohammad Sanusi Barkindo, who passed away on July 5th, 2022. This is Energy Frontiers. Welcome back to the program. His Excellency Mohammad Sanusi Barkindo had a vast career in the global energy industry. He was a diplomatic leader who influenced a lot of energy stakeholders around the world. Joining us this week to talk about Barkindo is Dr. Omar Farouk Ibrahim, the Secretary General, African Petroleum Producers Organization. Enjoy it. So speaking of Africa, sir, do you share the late OPEC chief's view on energy transition timelines for Africa?
Totally. Absolutely. We share a lot with Barkindo when it comes to energy matters. I think I have found in Barkindo a great supporter when it comes to the definition and articulation of the African position on the global energy transition. Both of us believe that the world needs a lot of energy, and the current demonizing of fossil fuels and the support for renewables is not going to help the global community. Because for over 150 years, the world has lived on fossil fuels and all the technological developments you see today, including medicine, including science, information communication technology, can be attributed to energy provided by fossil fuels. Unfortunately, Africa was producing these resources not for its own people, but for other people. And that explains why today, on the African continent, we have the largest proportion of people on earth who do not have access to energy. Women in the villages and even in town cook with firewood, with cow dung, with so many things that are unhealthy. Over 600 million Africans do not have access to electricity. Over 900 million Africans do not have access to any form of modern energy for cooking or domestic use. And on this, both OPEC and Apple are united that we cannot abandon fossil fuels because this is what we have. We have 125 billion barrels of oil in our ground, over 500 trillion cubic feet of gas, and you ask us to abandon it in a hurry? No, we are not in a hurry to abandon it. We are not contesting climate change, but what we are saying is that climate change did not start today. Climate change started 150 years ago, but because the developed world were developing and they wanted to consolidate their development, they refused to do anything until today that they know that their economies are not dependent on heavy energy to succeed. Their economies are today dependent on services and artificial intelligence. They don't rely on manufacturing. This is the time that Africa is going into industrialization. And you can't industrialize with renewable energy, at least not now. So the most reliable form of energy for heavy industries are fossil fuels. And you are telling us, don't use it because it's harmful. But when you were using it for 150 years, even though you knew it was harmful, you hid that knowledge from people. This is something that Barkindo also shares. But because he was heading a global organization, represents from the Americas, from Asia, from Africa, from the Middle East, and situated in Europe, he was not in the best position to say so. I heading an organization that is Africa-centric, based in Africa, whose interest is African people, I can say it because I have no hindrance.
So, what legacies of late Barkindo would the African Petroleum Producers Organization be looking to preserve and pursue?
We will try very much to do what Barkindo has tried to do at the OPEC Secretariat.
Right.
Like I told you, I was OPEC governor for Nigeria for 5 years. And before then, I had also worked at the OPEC Secretariat,
Right.
the key management, senior management, for 7 years. And I can clearly tell you what OPEC was before Barkindo and during Barkindo's time. One of the things I know that he had devoted attention to was research. Barkindo has always believed, including even before he went to OPEC as Secretary General, in NNPC, research and development have always been central to his thinking of how Africa could develop. And this is exactly what we are borrowing from the legacy of Barkindo to ensure that we have established strong research and development centers across the sub-regions of Africa so that our countries who still have oil and gas will be able to continue to exploit these resources in the absence of the international oil companies and international financial institutions that have for about 100 years been sponsoring and doing all of these things for us. Because if the energy transition agenda succeeds and we are not ready to take over the actual operations of this industry, then it means we are going to be left with 125 billion barrels and 500 trillion cubic feet of gas in our ground, because those with the technology would leave us behind, those with the expertise will leave us behind, and even if we succeed in producing, we will have no market for it. The only way out is research and development, and this is what we are focusing on.
Welcome back to Energy Frontiers. Let's track the prices of some energy products. Early on Friday, July the 8th, the London Brent crude went up 0.56% to trade at 105.24 USD per barrel. The US WTI climbed 0.25% to trade at 102.99 USD per barrel. Natural gas was trading down 1.81% to trade at 6.18 USD per MMBTU, also in early Friday trade. This week, a gallon of gasoline in Tripoli, Libya, cost 57 dirham. In Dodoma, Tanzania, a gallon of gasoline cost 11.33 shilling. And that is the package for this edition of Your Energy Frontiers, and we thank you for watching. You can follow the show on the Frontier Africa Reports website and across all our social media handles as indicated on the screen. It is goodbye from me, Omar Farouk Ibrahim, and I will see you next time.